earlier. So first, what you have to have, first you need to create a workbook. Let us say, let me go and show you. The first interface is workbook. What is that workbook we are going to create? We are going to create for XLS, that is HSSF workbook. So go here, HSSF workbook, and I'm going to create the object as WB is equal to new HSSF workbook. This is your first step. Okay, now import the required packages. So import it. And after that, what is the next one? You need to have the sheet. After book, you will have a sheet. Sheet HSSF sheet. HSSF sheet 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 is equal to WB dot create sheet. Create sheet. If you see, there are two options you can make use. One is create sheet or create sheet with a name. If you use create sheet, by default your Excel will be created with a sheet with sheet 0 name. What is that? That means whenever you create any Excel, for example, if you are creating an Excel like this, your sheet 1, you will have a name with sheet 0. For example, if you give with sheet with name, then if you wanted to create user data, that is your input sheet name, so then automatically it will create user data sheet. We will see both the examples. So first I'm going to create a default sheet, create sheet method without having any input sheet, and after that you just import the required package. And after that, what is the next one you will have? You will have the row, HSS row. I wanted to insert the data in my first row. HSS row is equal to sheet dot create row. Okay, so you will be having the row number, that is your first row, which is 0. So I'm making it as row 1, that is my first row, and then import the required thing, HSS row, HSSF row, right? So HSSF row, and then import the respective package. So you have to write it correctly, then only you'll be able to import the respective packages. So once that is done, now what we wanted to do is row 1 dot get sheet, that is your first sheet. So you have created that one, row 1 dot create cell. Okay, so row 1, you're going to write row 1 dot create cell, that is my first cell, that is 0 dot set cell value. So set cell, and then I'm going to give the set cell value as my string value. So if you see, there are so many set cell values, I wanted to pass one string value. That's the reason I'm selecting set cell value string. I'm giving it as user ID. Within the double quotes, you put it as user ID. And similarly, you're going to have the second value. And I wanted to have one more as row 2, and then create cell, the next cell value, and then set cell value as password. Okay, so now, so this is your first row only, right? Row 1 only you have to give. This is done. Now I wanted to have the data in second row. So what I'll do, I'll create another instance like this for the row, that is my row 2, and then create row of second row is, it will start with 0, second row value index is 1. So in that case, now if you wanted to create some data for this, let's say copy and paste it here, instead of row 1 you make it as row 2. And now I'll be giving Vijay and then Ajay. Okay, so Vijay, and then I'll give password as something like ABC, ABCD, and it is row 2, correct? Okay, So now similarly row 3. So what is that we are going to do? You're going to change it to row 3 and then you're going to make it as 2 and then this is 3, and then you're going to have Ajay as the name and then password is XYZ something. Okay, whatever you wanted to give you can give. So once you create these 3 rows, this is user ID password, after that Vijay and some password and Ajay and password, then you wanted to create the file with the name as file is equal to new. I wanted to save the file in one location. Where do you want to save? I wanted to save my file in this location with the name sample. Let's say I'm going to have it under this double quotes 2 backward slashes sample dot xls, because we're going to create xls. That's the reason we have used the classes which are related to the XLS class. HSSF are used to create .xls file. That's the reason I have given .xls file. And then you need to import the file, the Java IO util package also. And then your workbook, that is WB, you have created. Then write file. You can use write file or write output stream. Anything is fine. For now, you just learn write file method. You have given the file name and it will ask for add through declarations. So you can give add through declaration IO exceptions, input output file exception, and then wb dot close. So you're going to close the file. So this is how you're going to write the basic script which will create the Excel file with the defined name and then with the data whatever you wanted to. If you run this script, see what is going to happen. Before that, let's see test data. You don't have a file called sample.xls. Now if you run this, see what is going to happen. See, it got executed and go to your test data. See, there is a file which got created. So with today's date 3/31/2024, that is the system date today. And then if you open this file, you will be able to see the data, whatever we have sent. See, this is how user ID password and then first 2 records have been created and sheet 0 is created. So for example, if you don't want to see the sheet 0, I wanted to see input as my sheet name. Now what I wanted to do is I will go here and create sheet. Here I am going to write input as my test data sheet name and I'll put it as sample1.xls, and again I will run the script and see what is going to happen. It will create one more file with the name sample1.xls. See here, sample1.xls is created, and here you will see the sheet name with input. Okay, so it is not taking the default one. Whatever the data sent or set by the user, that sheet name it has created. So this is how you will be creating the .xls files.